Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics on Channels Television. I'm Millicent Walker. On the news this hour, President Muhammadu Buhari has departed the country for Senegal to attend the inauguration of a new president. And the trial of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, continues today at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. At the induction of newly elected federal lawmakers, Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki insists the Senate was right in the confirmation process of the EFCC acting chairman, Mr. Ibrahim Magu. Welcome everyone to the program. We take off this noon with the story of President Muhammadu Buhari leaving the country today. Now the president is expected to depart Abuja for Dakar, the capital of Senegal, to attend the inauguration of Senegalese President Macky Sall, who will be sworn in for a second term in office. President Buhari, who is the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, will be the special guest of honor at the ceremonies, which will be attended by other African leaders at the exhibition center tomorrow, Damien Nadio Exhibition Center. Now, a statement from the president's media aide says he will be accompanied by governors Mohammed Abubakar of Bauchi State, Nasser El-Rufai of Kaduna, and Tanko Al-Makura of Nasarawa State. Other government officials of the presidential entourage include the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, National Security Advisor Major General Babangana Monguno, retired, and Director General, National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai. The president is expected back in the country at the end of the inauguration ceremonies. Now, the president, by the way, earlier today met with members of the Board of Trustees, Katsina State Development Fund, delegation led by retired Justice Maman Nasir. Well, the Code of Conduct Tribunal has commenced sitting at the resumed hearing of Justice Walter Onnoghen's trial for alleged non-declaration of assets. The tribunal had on Friday ruled that Justice Onnoghen has a case to answer. The counsel to Justice Onnoghen informed the tribunal this morning that proceedings of the tribunal on Friday had not been made available to them. He adds that he has a witness, one Mrs. Teresa Nwafo of the Code of Conduct Bureau, and would be requesting a subpoena for her to appear as a witness for the Chief Justice. The witness is the director of the CCB, Code of Conduct Bureau in Benin. Mr. Awomolo also informed the chairman that he ought to rule on his application before any other thing, a position the prosecution counsel did not object to. Chairman of the tribunal, in his ruling, granted the request and ordered her to be at the tribunal on Wednesday by 10 a.m. In the meantime, a second witness, Lawal Olarawaju Busari, has taken the witness stand on behalf of the Chief Justice. We'll be talking to our correspondent who's live for us there quite shortly. But in the meantime, the President of Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, insists that the Senate has the powers to confirm or reject ministerial nominees, as spelled out in the Constitution. The President of Senate says the situation where the Senate rejects a nominee, the President has the right to present a new nominee or deploy a political solution like obeying the Senate for its preferred candidate. The Senate President is making these remarks in response to the impasse over the confirmation of the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and that's Ibrahim Magu, at the ongoing induction of incoming lawmakers-elect. The upper chamber rejected the nomination of Mr. Magu as EFCC's chairman 3 times on the basis of a report by the Department of State Services. This had led to a situation where Mr. Magu has been on acting capacity as EFCC chairman for nearly 3 years. Preparations are in top gear for the takeoff of the 9th Assembly, and one of the first set of programs lined up for this takeoff is an induction program for lawmakers-elect. And the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, in his address at a dinner to open the induction program, wants the newly elected members to be courageous, as they will be called upon to take actions which may not be popular, but in the best interests of Nigerians.
The chambers of the National Assembly requires people of courage. Very soon, we members-elect of the National Assembly, whether we're senators or members of the House of Representatives, will be required to take an oath of office. And sooner than later, that oath of office may bring you into conflict with yourself. But we must always remember that our democracy is organized in such a way that it is meant to be driven by consensus. And where consensus fails, it is always the prerogative of the parliament or the National Assembly, in the case of Nigeria, to go first. In the sense that when it comes to bills, for instance, even where the president has vetoed the bill, if the National Assembly can muster 2/3 of its members, it can override the bill.
Well, also speaking at the event, the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, asked lawmakers-elect to build on the achievements of the 8th Assembly by passing legislation to address poverty, unemployment, and improve on the ease of doing business.
It has been shown all over the world, surveys and studies, that the legislature is the most misunderstood arm of government. The reasons are many, ranging from being the youngest arm of government, ranging from being one that a lot of people do not really understand what are the responsibilities of legislators. And because of that, there's always a challenge. So I want to also in this note appeal to our legislators to continue to protect the image and also this institution. Because as we keep on saying, our democracies are strong as our parliament and our legislative arm of government. And that is why I also will appeal to the 9th Assembly to build on some of the foundation that has been laid in addressing the key areas of poverty, security, health sector, ease of doing business, and the economy.
Meanwhile, the race for leadership positions in the National Assembly has also begun, and some prominent members are already indicating intentions to run for the big seat. In the House of Representatives, the majority leader in the 8th Assembly, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, is eyeing the top seat ahead of the inauguration of the 9th Assembly. Mr. Gbajabiamila, who made the declaration in Abuja, says service to the nation is the motivating factor behind his seeking to become the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Our correspondent Kayla Magu reports.
The Speaker of the Nigerian House of Representatives is the presiding officer of the House, chosen through indirect election by elected members of the House of Representatives. The Speaker is third in line for the succession to the President after the Vice President and the Senate President. Nigeria has had 12 speakers since 1955.
That this House do admit the Honorable...
This will be Femi Gbajabiamila's 5th term in the House of Reps, representing Surulere 1 constituency. He is the endorsed candidate of the All Progressives Congress, and his colleagues say he is the best candidate the party can offer.
I will not be making a mistake if I say Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila stand out as the best candidate we can offer for that position.
The citation for Mr. Gbajabiamila is read by Honorable Mohammed Mongono of Borno State.
Femi Gbajabiamila was the first and only legislator to bring motion on the floor of the House for the invocation of the doctrine of necessity during the illness and absence of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua of blessed memory, which led to the swearing in of Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan as acting president.
Then it was time for the formal declaration by the House leader of his intention to run for Speaker.
It is because of this unshakable belief in the potential and genius of Nigeria and the majesty of our democracy that I today, after wide consultations with my colleagues, my friends, family, party, and stakeholders, and in total submission to the will of God, today formally declare my intention to seek the position of the office of the Speaker of the 9th Assembly and offer my services to the nation in this capacity.
Following the declaration, Different parties from the geopolitical zones show their support for the House leader.
The citation has gone and shown to us that indeed there is no other deserving person than himself.
This decision of the party, the APC, is not only a popular decision, but it's an upright decision.
Our joy today is having a leader and a speaker who understand the business of legislature.
The relationship between the executive and the legislature was on thin ice during the 8th Assembly. Mr. Gbajabiamila says he understands the imperative of striking a balance between the two arms of government without compromising the independence of the legislature. Kayla Magu, Channels Television News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will tomorrow commence the process of concluding the River State governorship election. The electoral umpire says it will start the collation of results across local government, senatorial and state levels. The exercise is expected to commence on the 2nd of April to the 5th of the same month. INEC had suspended the election in River State due to security issues and some disruption of the exercise. The electoral umpire met with some stakeholders last week, but the tension in the state was also evident in some of the drama which played out at the meeting. Well, let's now speak to the INEC Chairman's Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Rotimi Ukemi, who is in our Abuja studios for the latest on preparations ahead of tomorrow's exercise. We'd like to thank you so much for joining us on the program and ask if you can describe to us how the exercise would begin tomorrow in River State.
Thank you very much. The exercise will go on as planned. We've made all preparations. Like you rightly said, the election was suspended when violence was visited on our collation center, and we've also expressed disappointment to those that we should express disappointment to, and we set up a fact-finding mission which investigated what happened and reported back to the commission, following which the decision to commence the collation exercise tomorrow to last till the 5th. And we made all preparations. According to the timelines, we are to do that over the next 3 days and conduct supplementary elections thereafter in the areas where we should conduct those elections. And our plan is that latest by the 19th of this April, we will issue the certificates of return to the respective winners.
So for further clarification you mentioned that you have about 17, or you stopped at 17 of the 23 local governments the last time.
That's correct.
So does that mean, or can we safely say perhaps that INEC perhaps knows who is leading in the 17 that you already have?
Well, we can't talk about who is leading now until we conclude the process. It's safer when you have all the results. And that's why it's important for us to conclude the collation process. And once we have all the details, it will be easy to announce the results.
Yes, but another question is, some people are wondering, is it safe to say that INEC knows who's leading out of the 17 of the 23 local government areas?
That's information we'd rather keep to our chest. From experience, you don't announce the winner before the exercise is concluded. So let's wait till the end of the exercise. Then we'll announce the winners. Everybody will hear it.
About tomorrow, which of the collation will be taking place? Is it the state, senatorial, or House of Assembly?
Well, all the areas where the collation the areas where it's affected, that's where we're going to go ahead with tomorrow. In all the areas affected, both the State Assembly and the National Assembly elections.
The final question is on security. I mean, there have been several allegations on plans to involve the military. What will security be from tomorrow?
Thank you very much. You know, normally in an election, we have what you call 3 rings of the electoral, architecture for security. At the polling unit level, normally in an election, you have about 3 election officials unarmed, and then you have not too far away the patrol teams, and then you have the military on the outskirts to get the entry point. But the elections have been concluded in most of the areas, so we're not going to be needing as many security personnel as one would have expected if the election were taking place afresh. And in tomorrow's, when we start tomorrow, for instance, the military will not be expected to play any major role. Of course, in this process is the police that is the lead agency that provides security, and other sister agencies in the electoral architecture plan that we have. So we don't expect the military to play any major role tomorrow, except, of course, where you have ugly incident that the police and other sister agents cannot effectively take care of, then we might invite the military.
All right,
but that's the last resort. Anyway.
We'd like to thank you so much, Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman, for joining us on the program. Still to come, protesters storm INEC office in Cross River State. Find out why in a moment. Welcome back to the program. And the All Progressives Congress House of Representatives members-elect from the North Zone, they have pledged to abide by the decision of the ruling party on the selection of the new Speaker and other principal officers of the House ahead of the inauguration of the 9th National Assembly in June. Emerging from a closed-door meeting in Kaduna, leader of the 54 newly elected APC members, Ibrahim Aliyu, who briefed journalists, says as loyal and dedicated party members, they have no objection to the party's position on the selection of the House leadership. He explains that their decision to stand by the APC leadership is to ensure a rancor-free process and also avert a situation whereby the opposition will hijack the leadership of the House, as witnessed in 2015. The new lawmakers also endorsed the immediate past senior special assistant to the President on National Assembly matters, Kawa Sumaila, as their consensus candidate for any leadership position in the House of Representatives that will be zoned to the Northwest.
We have about 54 newly elected members from this zone, Northwest zone. It will be surprising for most, or maybe you, the press, to note the fact that we are able to bring ourselves together on a round table and discuss issues affecting the zone, or issues that may be beneficial to the zone. So during the interaction, we are able to realize the need for us to speak with one voice and come up with one front when it comes to any position that is so zoned to the Northwest. So that's how we come about Honorable Kawa Sumaila, having been an experienced legislator who has been in the field for getting to about 20 years. 3 times National Assembly member, 2 times leader at the National Assembly, House of Representatives particularly, and a liaison officer of the President at the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives.
Well, the People's Democratic Party in Katsina State and its candidates, they formally filed a petition before the Election Petitions Tribunal challenging the conduct of the March 9 governorship election. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Godu Uche, who led the legal team in filing the petition, says his clients are challenging the victory and educational qualifications of Governor Aminu Masari of the All Progressives Congress, with Monday 1st of April today as the deadline for filing petitions before the tribunal. The PDP has been able to beat the time after filing their petition Saturday night. The APC, its candidate Governor-elect Masari, and the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC have been named as respondents.
We have come here this evening to formally file the petition against the return and declaration of the governor of this state as the winner of the governorship elections. We have filed this petition even 2 days before the expiry of our time. Our time should actually expire on Monday. But because of the huge evidence we have We already have documented it. We have filed it before this tribunal. And part of the things we are claiming before this tribunal is that, first of all, our opponent was not even qualified educationally to even run for the election. And we're also going to show that he submitted false information to INEC in his Form CF001. We're going to show all that. We're also going to show that the election itself was marred by irregularities and that there were serious problems with that election. We have even put up places in this petition to show that the votes of PDP were stolen and used to make up the votes that you have for APC.
What you see, a cross-section of Cross River State residents taking a peaceful protest to the headquarters of INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, to defend what they say is the integrity of their son, the resident electoral commissioner in River State, Mr. Ifanga Obo. This follows a perceived irregularity in the just concluded governorship elections in River State and the suspension of the process. The group led by the senator-elect representing Cross River State, Central Senatorial District, Dr. Sandiono, is asking the national body of INEC to ignore claims of compromise leveled against Mr. Ifanga Obo, stating that the claims are from politicians in the state who have lost touch with their people and therefore have resulted into blackmail of Mr. Ifanga Obo.
These ceaseless threats on the person of Obo Ifanga have continued to escalate, and it is only expected that the people of Cross River should rise and speak, as they are beginning to do, to the effect that Obo Ifanga comes from this state. But that is not just it. Obo is one of the faces of the Nigeria we hope to have. He's a man of integrity and probity, and it's upon that he was given this appointment. He didn't beg for it, and he has remained uncompromisable. That is why a few leaders in Rivers who know they are no longer in touch with their people are doing everything to get him out, to intimidate him.
Let's turn our attention elsewhere now. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has continued to thank God for his survival in the February 2nd helicopter crash in Kogi State. Professor Osinbajo says his death would have spurred needless conspiracy theories, and many persons who knew nothing about it would have had some explanations to give. He was speaking at the Thanksgiving service at the State House. Now, correspondent Gloria Mezoke has more.
It's a service of thanksgiving to celebrate the recent victory at the recently held 2019 presidential election. Former head of state General Yakubu Gowon and wife joined the vice president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and wife to give thanks to God. The governor of Ekiti State, secretary to the government of the Federation, the head of service, members of the cabinet and diplomatic corps, as well as leadership of the Christian Association of Nigeria, among others, are also in attendance.
That your office...
Anglican Primate Reverend Nicholas Oko recalled the air crashes which has claimed several lives and offered thanks to God for sparing that of the vice president.
You will not die in office. The good hand of our God will preserve you. We pray that your office will please God. That whatever you do in your thought, in your word, in your action, you may please God.
The vice president equally recounted his experience during the crash on the 2nd of February on his way for a 2-day campaign tour in Kogi State.
On reflection, it occurred to me that if we had died, that's what would have happened. There would have been complete silence in there also. And just as I said, I just reflected over the various problems that would have occurred. The smaller problems just being the rumors, how did it happen? Who did it? Why did they do it? And the way we are, I just feel sorry for so many people who would have been involved in conspiracy theories or things they knew nothing whatsoever about. But God delivered them too, because they would have had to explain themselves about how did this happen. In fact, there was a lady who came to me and said to me, Kogi, Kogi, Kogi. Even Kogi would have been in trouble.
Many here believe the victory at the recent presidential election is divine. Hence, this Thanksgiving service, which is among several already held, to give thanks to God and pray for a successful 4 years ahead.
You have been served on Lunchtime Politics. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Nwaka. I'll see you soon.